So thank you so much for being here today. I want to start with your key takeaways, key highlights from your session.
Yeah, sure. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me as a speaker. In fact, what it does, attending these kind of forums, what it really does is, besides giving you an opportunity to share your ideas, you actually get to hear a lot of eminent experts, and that actually helps to refine your thinking. So I think that's the first key takeaway, I would say. The second, I think, was more in terms of how the entire security aspect or the security landscape is going to change over the next 8 to 10 years. And I think it's definitely going to be a different world, a different security world which we are actually going to embrace. But one aspect, I think, which is going to be very, very important, and if at all there is anything, any speed breaker which can actually stop or derail, the development, is going to be the budget allocation part. And this is something very, very practical. I think even today, when we look at security, it is looked at as a cost center. I think it is really important for one to really drive this security aspect and look at it as an enabler, look at it as something which brings in a lot of value, and look at it as an investment. So I think these platforms like this Business World Security Conclave really act as catalyst, to basically help to change this particular mindset. And I'm sure that, this event is definitely going to work in that fashion. Secondly, I would also like to talk about, the things which came up around, the diminishing line between the physical security and the cyber security. Because, with the kind of AI, ML, IoT, what the kind of terms which are definitely going to be used, I think this line is definitely going to become dim. So, I think one needs to be really, really cautious and conscious about these changes.
All right, great. I would like your comment on, how physical security is ensuring and safeguarding businesses in general. Your comment on that. What role is it playing?
Sure. I think today, if you were to look at one major risk which a corporate or a business actually is facing, is the reputation risk. And one of the factors which can really cause damage to the reputation are some events in the field of security or lack of security, which can really lead to, very, very windfall kind of, or catastrophic kind of impact on the reputation of these organizations. And I think where the security companies can actually step in is in terms of helping these companies, these corporates, to basically mitigate a lot of risk around this reputation aspect. So that's, I think, the key role of security agencies, who are basically, they are aware of what's going to happen in the future, and they will basically fortify your entire, create a fort or fortress around this risk framework.
So last question, you mentioned that security is still seen as a cost center. How will that outlook be changed, and how far are we the outlook of security as a cost center, that outlook, how can we change that, and how far are we from changing it?
Yeah, so I think definitely we're seeing there is a change, but what one needs to really see is how can you internally, and this is especially for the security officers, how can you internally sell this concept of security as an enabler, security as value? And one of the concepts is return on security investment. I think everybody has heard the term called return on capital employed, which is very easy to find out that, okay, I have made so much profit and this is the capital I have employed. But when it comes to ROSI, which is ROSI, return on security investment, it is the challenge here is to quantify the benefits which this security brings in to the table. And I think that is the major challenge. But if at all we can really find out ways and means in terms of how security can add value and quantify these benefits, it will be much easier for the corporate security officers to sell this concept internally. Because I think what happens is, if at all security has to be deployed or advanced security systems have to be deployed in an organization, there is a cost to to it. And unless and until the top management is convinced that, okay, you need to really invest in this kind of security, things are definitely not going to change. And this is the task which I think corporate security personnel have to take and spearhead this entire thing forward in terms of, bringing to the table what returns can you have, or what is it that exactly the security can bring into the table as a value.
Mr. Gokhale, thank you so much for chatting with us and sharing your thoughts.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Thanks.